today we have some site work to do, hence why the digger is behind us and it's primed and ready.
And we've got the top of the range rotary sight laser level from Milwaukee.
It is the M18 RLOHV1200. Now, this is the first time we have used this laser, so you're going to be learning along the way with us of how everything works. Now, Josh is going to be doing the technical bit, all about how it all works and the features and everything on it. I'm going to be driving the digger.
And I'm going to be on driving the beeper.
Tested by Machinery Nation.
So to give you a bit more context of what we're actually trying to achieve here today, because the level was delivered a couple months ago.
It was, yeah.
But we wanted to use it on a proper job, not just in a field showing you how it all works and what it can do. So I thought, actually put it into the real world and do some site work.
James has recently bought an adult Lego set.
I have bought some concrete Lego blocks. So they got delivered the other day and we need to make a clamp. So when our animals
Defecate?
Defecate?
Facate, I don't know.
we need to make a poo pen. So I'm going to have some concrete blocks down through here, and I'm going to have some concrete blocks down through here. That was an awkward shot. And we need to make them level. So, because as with any wall, you don't want a wall that is like this. You don't want a wall that is like that.
So this is where this thing comes into play, because we have got so many different levels here. So what we can do is we can take our datum point with this stick, get it lined up to the laser level, and then James can have a nice trench dug all the way through to lay his Lego blocks.
I can. And just to show you what the different levels are, so I don't know if you can see from the camera, it's difficult to put it in perspective, but that there, the bubble is right up the end of the level. Here, again, the bubble is right up the end of the level, and even this wall back here is, well, it's not that far off level, but it's not level. So this is where a laser level hopefully comes into its own, because you've got so many different levels to work with, and you do level by sight and bits and pieces like that. So we want to make sure it's right.
We need to find our point that we're going to work from.
We do.
And then you start digging and I'll start the beeper. Right, so before we get digging, we need to set up our laser level. It is auto leveling, so you can just put it on the tripod and get a rough level, but then the laser will obviously set itself correctly for you. So we're going to put it on concrete, and we don't really want to move it from this point. In a moment, we're going to find our datum point. We'll mark that. So if this does move, we know that that is the point that we marked our level from, in which we can then use the stick and the detector to mark back our levels back through for the trench. Now, a few quick specs on this machine. The 1200, the M18 RLOHV1200, the 1200 stands for 1200 meters range, so 1.2 kilometers range. There's 3 different speed settings on the RPM of the laser. You've got 600, 900 and 1200. Now, you use the 600 if you're indoors, because it gives you a brighter or a better laser sight. At 1200 RPM, it's better for outdoors and distances. It will pick it up and be more accurate. Now, it runs on the M18 system, so we got a 6 amp hour battery in there at the moment, but you can run it on a 5 amp hour, and that will give you up to 72 hours of runtime, which is absolutely phenomenal. There's loads of different features with it. We've got it on the TRP160 tripod. Me and James haven't really dealt with sight laser levels before. It's super easy. Got it straight out of the box, plug and play, connected it up to both detectors. We're ready to go.
Finish waffling?
Just about.
I'm ready to start digging. What have you been up to?
Explaining to the viewers all about that lovely sight laser level.
Well, I've sprayed you a nice dot on the floor, so you're ready.
That's beautiful. That's our starting datum point. So if that moves, that doesn't.
I'm ready for you to turn it on, and let's get going.
Let's get going now.
Let's turn her on. Leveling. Leveled. Right, Joshy, I'm ready for you.
Right.
To level up your staff.
Okay, so
with your wizard stick.
It doesn't really matter where you put your detector on here, but we'll just start on the 0 for good measure, and we'll extend the bottom of the stick, and it tells you how many millimeters on the screen we need to drop down, and then that will be level with the laser itself. So there we go.
Boom.
We're pretty much there, within 0.5 of a mil, which for building work, I mean, that's going to be all right, to be honest. I think
What
it'll be
sort
too
of building
far.
work do you do? Unlevel building work.
You see my house.
Josh asked me to hold this staff and it's making lots of noise, but luckily you can turn it down to low so it doesn't beep quite so loud, which I'm very happy about. There we go. Much quieter.
So have you worked out how you're going to square it off, James?
I'm going to square it off.
Well, keep everything looking square.
I don't need to work it out, mate. I'm an expert.
Are you?
Yeah.
You're just going to get your tape measure out at the end and just hope that the front and the back are the same width, do you?
Get my tape measure out.
4 inches, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just keep doubling it up, you know. Yeah, that's where we're going to dig first. Josh has got his staff at the ready.
Yep.
I'm going to dig a trench down through there. Now, that's a nice thing about a laser level is normally you would start at the bottom of your work to work your level back through. But because you've got laser level, I can start up here because we know exactly where we're going to be.
Yep. Get your level right down there and just bring it right back through then.
Apparently so. And we're running. Where's your high vis, Josh? Can't see where you are. I told you I don't need a tape measure, don't I? See?
Yeah.
Look at the width on that, eh? Hey?
Here we go. First dig. Right, let's try that. So it's 30 there. In at the back. Yeah, it's still got to go down. Alright, let's try again. Oh, it's just need to come up slightly. So we are level there, and you can see we're in a bit of a stone rut. So if we can work back at that level, we're pretty spot on. Right, so now we've got the level in the bottom of our trench. James can actually work back through. And the handy thing with this one, if you just come in close and look at the screen, and I tilt it down, you can see there's actually a gauge on the side, so it gives you a rough idea of what you need to achieve in millimeters, and also it gives you an arrow as well. So I know that at that point, obviously we need to dig down here. So yeah, accuracy is on 0.5 mil at the moment.
Yeah.
We'll change that up to 5.
Yeah, because it doesn't need to be...
For an old farm job.
Oh yeah, for an old farm job. An old farm job, we wouldn't be using the laser level. But for what we're doing,
Click OK.
we don't need it quite so accurate. Look
There
at
you
that.
are. Bang on.
Bang on.
Bang on. It could be up here, it'd be bang on now. It is. It's not.
It's all right, isn't it?
Pretty level all the way
Level.
through there.
But you see, obviously in the real world, you would put some concrete in first or some hardcore for them to sit on. I'm not doing that.
Just fairly hard down here, isn't it? Right, on to trench 2 then, James.
Yeah, in a minute.
He's just checking his social media, I think.
Josh is just over there playing with his pony.
My little pony. Right, let's see how James is getting on. We'll let him scrape that bucket out and we'll see where we're to with our levels. Now, one thing I do love about this is you can actually see there's LEDs on the side as well. So if you're in the cab or you're in the digger, you can clearly see the red light means you've got to drop down, or you've got to dig down. Green means you're good and blue means you're too low. So it's really handy, like James in the cab now, he can clearly see what he needs to do without me shouting to him or speaking to him or whatever. But yeah, really like that feature. So a little bit more.
I love your measurements.
A nice foot.
Just a little bit more.
A nice foot. Depends how big your foot is. Right. That's pretty good. Now, if you're digging footings, obviously you wouldn't worry if you got a little bit of a lump and a bump in the middle, because obviously you fill it with concrete and then you get it nice and smooth on your concrete footing. But that is a pretty good job from Mr. Digger Operator James, I think. I know his belly will be talking lunchtime in a minute, so he'll soon be chirping. Lunchtime, innit? Lunchtime. Lunchtime, innit? Yeah, thumbs up. Only done a half hour's work.
So we've got some other interesting things to mention about this in a second, but I'd just like to say we've got two ditches, Josh.
We have got two ditches.
We've got two
big
ditches.
trenches.
Two big trenches. There we are. So we could probably play like, you know, soldier boys.
Soldier boys.
I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. I really don't. Anyway, they're two level trenches, which I'm very happy with. Now, we're not going to put the concrete blocks in this video because this has always been about this one. But if you want to watch how we do that, then we've got another channel called Find It, Fix It, Farm It, where we do loads of jobs around our property and buy and sell used machinery. So check that out. The link is in the description below. And then once those blocks are in, I'll then cut this down and pull this out. Now, I don't want to take away too much of the bank there because that is supporting everything that's up there until one day I got enough coin in my pocket to be able to concrete the back of that as well. But this is just sort of a temporary clamp, as it were, for what we need to do.
Good, isn't it?
Now, there are a few very key features that we haven't mentioned on this yet. Two of them are very, very important. One being the handles aren't just handles, they're also designed to protect the laser and the battery. Now, this space age dish on the top is exactly for that as well. So again, if you drop this from up to 1.5 meters, it is going to be protected. I don't know how well that would be if you were to swing around with a digger and knock it over, but for sort of general accidents, it's going to be a lot better protected than anything else on the market.
Yeah, and you can also use it, obviously we're using it horizontally today, but you can unscrew it off the top and you can use it vertically. So you've got a screw thread on there, so you can screw it back on the tripod and work that way. You can obviously put it on the floor both ways as well. So really nice design.
It's also IP66 water rated, so for general sort of showers, absolutely fine. But if it was peeing it down, I'd say probably get it in out of the way, but it is extremely waterproof compared to others that aren't, I don't think, even rated on the market to a water resistance.
We have a remote. Now, we didn't utilise that today, but it is a really handy feature because obviously you can use this up to 1.2 kilometres away. It means you don't have to manually come up and change the settings on your machine.
Now, a perfect opportunity to be able to use that in is if you're putting in something like a car jester and you've got a long, long way of pipe. Now, the one that we put in our property was 600 metres. If you'd have to walk that back to your laser every single time, it'd be a lot of walking. Now, the thing is with a pipe like that, it's got a gradient, so you're dropping down, and this is rated that you can manually control this laser, so you can go up to 12.5% on the gradient, which is 6.25 degrees. So if you've got a fall in a pipe, you can set that on here. So then when you've got your staff going along, you can make readings and have exactly the same gradient going all the way along your pipe.
And then another handy feature, which we didn't obviously use today, is the bump sensitivity. So if you're using the laser and someone was to walk past and accidentally bump into it, it sends a sensor to to this reader or to the detector and tells you that this has had movement. So it means you can stop your work, get it reset back up again and go again.
Now we have got another video that we're going to use this laser level in, and that is up here in the yard. We have a lot of standing water and we need to do some drainage. And that's where we were going to be able to use that feature to be able to get the gradient on that pipe absolutely bob on.
Now, we obviously didn't utilise this machine to its full capabilities, shall I say, so we will have loads more content. So make sure you check out the rest of our videos, and we've got loads more on this and loads more on the Milwaukee tools. So thank you very much for watching. We're Machinery Nation. We bring you product videos every week all about tools and machinery. Please subscribe, ding the notification bell, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheerio. That's the Italian job, that is.